Welcome to the video for the 5.7 section in the XYZ homework for the 107 class career math. There were some issues with this, so I've extended that deadline, but I also wanted to explain some of the problems. So if I'm over, but take a look at this problem. This is one of the problems. Y varies directly as X. That means it's a straight line, but when it says directly, that also means it goes through the origin. So it's giving me a point, y equals 6 when x equals -9. And I know there's another point at the origin. So I have to see what x is when y equals 4. So really I need to see how much y goes up for every x, or how much x goes up for every y, or in this case down. So I've got, actually my slope is 6 over -9. So I've got the, if I go down -9, I go up 6. And that shows me the line there. So that actually tells me I can think of that as 2/3 if I divide 2 over, or -2/3 if I divide them both by 3. So and now I want to know, I don't want 6, I want 4. I want to see how much it goes up, how much x goes down to make y go up by 4 from my 0. So I'll put my x here. I don't want those to be the same. So I can think of that in terms of the 2/3. So that tells me if y goes up 2, x has to go down -3. So I'm kind of thinking in my mind, if I want y to be 4, I need x to be -6. But there's ways we can do that. A lot of people, now that I've put the equal sign, a lot of people are going to say, hey, I can cross multiply. And you can. But I like to do it this way. I take the reciprocal of both sides, or I flip them both over. That tells me, that gives me something where I can just multiply by the 4. I have 4 divided by 4, which is 1. 1 times x is x. So I'm down to saying x equals, which is good. I'll take my 4 divided by 6. That gives me 2 divided by 3. 2/3 times -9. Now I can divide the 9 by 3, and actually I just have 2 times -3, which is -6. So I know that x equals -6 when y equals 4. And if I come back over -6, and it tells me that's right. There's another one that's kind of being an issue. It's this issue where we have y varies directly as the square of x, which is going to be going to end up doing it kind of the same way. Except that I have to put the squared in. So I'm going to set it up the same way. I can't do the graph because these are just the numbers are too big. But we know that y varies directly as x squared. So I'm just going to say y over x squared. And we have a point, 24 over, when x is 2, I'm going to say 2 squared. And now we want to know what x is when y is 96. So end up with the same situation as we had before. I'm going to flip that over and I'll square the 2, so I have 4 over 24 equals x over 96. Multiply both sides by 96. If you want to cross multiply, you can do that. Get the same answer. 96 over 96 is 1, so I end up with x equals, I'm going to do my 4 over 24. That's just 1 over 8. Sorry, 1 over 6. So I actually end up with 96 over 6. 96 over 6. I'm going to break that apart. I know I'm going to have 1 because 6 divided by 6 is 1. And now I'm going to think about the 90 divided by 6. 60 divided by 6 is 10. And I just have 30 divided by 6. So I end up with 60 divided by 6 is 10, 30 divided by 6 is 5. I end up with 15 plus 1, or 16. You just do that on your calculator. Obviously, we've talked a lot about mental math, so I wanted to talk about it. Oh, I'm sorry. I made a big mistake here, but it's easy to fix. I forgot to square my x. And if x squared equals 16, then x equals 4. And it seems happy with that. Although I think I got points off for making a mistake. At any rate, let's try another one. This one, y varies inversely as the square of x. Inversely is kind of the opposite of directly. But it's harder to visualize, but in the end, the math is really just as easy. So y varies inversely as the square of x. Actually, let's see if we can get, y, we'll just do y varies inversely with x. So y varies inversely with x. That means that x times y is always the same. So I have y is 28, x is 30. I can do 30 times 28 equals, find x when y is 35, x times 35. And I divide those both by 35. Inversely, it's like they've already cross-multiplied for you. And I'm going to say 30 over 35 is 6 over 7. 20 over 7 is, or 28 over 7 is 4. So I end up with 6 times 4. I get 24. Once again, you could do that in your calculator if you'd like. And it seems happy with that. Hopefully you can figure out the y inversely varies inversely as the square of x. But I'll do that really quickly. So I have y varies inversely as the square of x. So once again, I do multiplication, but now I do x squared times y. And I have 3 squared times y equals, and I'm trying to find y when x is 4. So I do 4 squared times y. And I end up with, oh, I'm sorry. For the 3 squared, 3 squared y is 48. Forgot which color I was using. So now I have 3 squared times 48, and then equals 4 squared times y. Divide both sides by 4 squared. You could go ahead and put in 16 if you like, but the way I'm thinking about it, now I have y equals, I'm going to divide my 48 by 4, and that's going to give me 12. Then I'm going to divide the 12 by the other 4, that's going to give me 3. So I end up with 3 squared times 3, and 3 squared times 3 is 27. Again, you could do all that on your calculator. And I try that, and 27 seems to make it happy. So, at any rate, go ahead and try to finish this. You have until almost midnight on Monday.